Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is the Baseball MLB Mini Podcast from AccessMediaGlobal.com. I am your host and founder of a grassroots sports site, which you can support at AccessMediaGlobal.com. Click on any of the icons you see regarding potential payment. If you'd like to support grassroots independent media, you can certainly do that. Much appreciated to defray the costs of podcasts, website upgrades and maintenance, and so forth. I don't get a dime for what I'm doing, but thousands of dollars has been put into the website to serve the sports community. Now, these little 10-minute or so short podcasts were established for the specific baseball fans and players and to promote the baseball page, because we found out basically through some analytics that 57% of the traffic is on the front page, and that's great, and we'll continue to bring you the stalwart programming that we have over the years. But I wanted to address a couple of things. First of all, for the Seattle Mariners, General Manager Jerry DiPoto, Trader Jerry, as I like to call him occasionally, has made a bonehead move. Yeah, I said it, a bonehead move. You know, it's kind of like, when you really mess up, but you don't realize you messed up a little bit. 30-year-old James Paxton out of Ladner, British Columbia, Canada. The Big Maple was traded last week. Now, generally around this time of year, holidays are holidays, and I really didn't need to go into the Thanksgiving holiday depressed, but I have to say that this one depressed me because I got word of this trade from a friend of mine who has been on the podcast before, my friend George. We're sitting in a local establishment, and we were talking about some baseball stuff. He's a Yankee fan. He has lived in the tri-state area of Philadelphia, New Jersey, and what Delaware's in there? Right, the tri-state region. Grew up a Yankee fan, and he's proposes to me as we're waiting for our meal, watching, I think it was Thursday Night Football last week. James Paxton is going to be traded from the Seattle Mariners to the New York Yankees. Oh, they're talking about it. And lo and behold, James Paxton, the Big Maple, has been traded. Now, it'd be worth noting that James Paxton has been with the Mariners since 2013. He's in year number 7. He's 41-26 lifetime. That's a .612 winning percentage, a 3.42 earned run average in 102 starts for Seattle. All right, 582 and a third innings pitched, giving up 523 hits, 244 runs, 221 of those earned, 54 home runs in his career, 168 bases on balls, 9 intentional walks, and 617 strikeouts. Okay, the problem that I have is the Mariners have done something they've been doing for the last, about 15, 16 years. They haven't qualified for the playoffs since 2001. Longest drought currently in MLB streak as far as not making the playoffs. We're going on 18 years here. The problem that I have is that Jerry DiPoto, he just got rid of Mike Zunino for some guy that we don't even know from the Tampa Bay Rays. Malik somebody. I'll get his name, but it'll be more toward spring training. I want to know why would any Seattle Mariner fan want to go to Safeco Field to see a team that is intentionally, I said intentionally, and I'm going to develop this here in a minute. Intentionally, I'm not going to say they're going to tank, but they want to take one step backward in order to take two steps forward. Now, this is not like stuff that's not out in the public. The flagship station in Seattle is ESPN 710, the radio home of Mariner baseball. Jerry DiPoto gives an interview to some of the talk radio hosts out in Seattle, and that's what he basically has decided. We're going to take two steps back in order to take one step forward, but wait until 2020 or 2021. It'll all work out, and we got to sit there. We got to sit there, and we got to put up with this garbage. Yeah, I said it, garbage. I could use other words, but this is a family show. All right? The problem that I have is the fact that Jerry DiPoto, he's going to take his team from 89 wins, probably down to 75, let's say, okay, by virtue of the fact that there's a fire sale. Yeah, I said it, fire sale going on in Seattle, but we're supposed to sit there and wait. Now, historically, historically, as far as the ownership of the Mariners, okay, we've gone from Mr. Yamauchi, who had Nintendo of America. Mr. Yamauchi saved baseball in Seattle, wanted to give a gift to the people of Seattle by preserving baseball after Jeff Smulyan and crew sold the team. So it went from Smulyan to Yamauchi. Yamauchi gets Safeco Field built, opened in July 15th, 1999. Beautiful stadium, by the way. Good music, good walk-up music. Reasonably good food, although I haven't tried the fried grasshoppers. The nachos and the garlic fries are legendary. Okay, just ask any of the broadcasters, including Dave Sims, Mike Blowers, and Aaron Goldschmidt. Okay, as far as the legend of that situation. My point being, now, the other thing is, during the Yamauchi years, the Mariners are waiting to get into the new stadium. They go ahead and they sell to a group led by Howard Lincoln, former CEO, chief executive of Puget Power, if I remember correctly. President Howard Lincoln was one of those guys who I think he was more interested in making like a profit. Okay, as far as that goes, the Mariners have a loyal fan base, including myself. Now, I can speak to this because I lived in the Pacific Northwest city of Seattle between 1992 and 2008. The Refuse to Lose 1995 Mariners, good experience. 1996, 1997, lose to the Baltimore Orioles. Okay, playoff appearance-wise. And then the heartbreak of 2001 with Jimmy Leyritz hitting home runs all over Yankee Stadium in the rain. But I really, really, really got to ask the Mariner fans this question, the Mariner fan base. Are you really willing to spend all that high dollar money sit in a beautiful ballpark when it's 45 degrees in April and cold and foggy? Are you really waiting for Justice Sheffield, the number one prospect in the Yankee system, and Eric Swain, number 22 in the Yankees system, to pan out? Is that really what you want, Jerry? We might as well be the 2007 Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Or I'll take you one better. Under Bo Porter, the Houston Astros, before they become the 100-win team, they lost 100 games for 4 years, and Bo Porter was dispatched really quick. But those were formative years for the likes of George Springer and Jose Altuve and Yuli Gurriel and that crew. Okay, now, the fact of the matter is, the Sporting Dollar in Seattle is a little split. There's a segment of the sports community in Seattle that likes basketball, so they'll be going to Husky games, and they'll be lobbying for the return of the Seattle Sonics, which I'm a proponent of, by the way. Won't go into that. That's a whole nother issue, Sonics Gate. There's also an understanding that the Washington Huskies are what we do in the fall when it's raining sideways and 45 degrees, and 45 degrees and cloudy and not raining is a good day in Seattle during these. Number 8, Washington State versus number 16 today in the Apple Cup, by the way. That for the right to win the Pac-12 North Championship. I think they're going to be facing Utah in the Pac-12 Championship next week, but I digress. What I'm saying to you, Mariner fans, is are you willing to trust Jerry, trust the process, like Philadelphia had to do when they were 9-73? This is NBA Philadelphia, 9-73, deliberately tanking games. Is it plausible that Jerry DiPoto is tanking the next 2 seasons? If they win 89 games next year, I'm going to be in shock, okay? And I'll be covering that on accessmediaglobal.com on a daily basis because 26 weeks, 6 months of baseball. You know, the Mariners will be playing the Oakland Athletics March 20 and 21, opening in the Tokyo Dome in just a few months here. So we're going to be able to see the digression of the Mariners. You know, Jerry DiPoto would make trades, nice little piece players. Hard to bring big free agents to Seattle because basically the Safeco Field is not warm in April and May and June and all this stuff. The heat doesn't start showing up in Seattle till July. Matter of fact, they even had to move the fences in because it wasn't a hitter-friendly park. And God knows nobody wants to be a free agent and going to Seattle. People are bundled up at Safeco Field in blankets and gloves and layers of clothing in April and May. And the average attendance is like 20 grand. Okay, 20,000 people. And I could say that, as part of the Mariner fan base, it's a good thing. But the fact of the matter is, I just cannot accept that Jerry's plan, which is watch these young players develop. We're going to be focusing on player development. That's what you're going to hear out of Seattle. Oh, we're developing good players. But I'm going to tell you, Mariner fans, are you willing? I got to ask you this question. Are you willing to pay for parking off of King Street? Are you willing to take these trains and buses from outlying areas outside Seattle to Safeco Field. Then, if you're driving your car, you got to pay $20 and up to park near the stadium. Are you willing to patronize a product that has digressed? 89 and 73. The Mariners were competitive for 3 to 6 months. But Trader Jerry has decided we're not going to be competitive. We're going to do player development. Look, you're a sports dollar. I respect your sports dollar. There's a lot of things to do in Seattle. I mean, you get the right dress on, the Gore-Tex and the gloves, and you go out to Safeco Field and you get fried grasshopper and all those tantalizing food at Safeco Field. The food at Safeco Field is very good, by the way. And you're going to sit there in April and May and June, and you're going to have Justice Sheffield pitch, Eric Swain pitch, and Scott Service will be, these guys, he's going to be saying this. These guys are learning to pitch, okay? At least, I have to say, it's almost like Jerry DiPoto, he looks south to Oakland, California, and what does he see? He sees former Mariner manager Bob Melvin, 97 and 65, overhauled the Mariners for the wild card. Got close to a division title, 97 and 65 this year. Bob Melvin, manager of the year in the American League. And he says, maybe we need to rethink what we're doing. I'm going to challenge every Mariner fan that's listening to this little short mini podcast, which is now running 18 minutes right now, where I'm coming up on 17 minutes, 18 minutes. I'll be done in a couple minutes, but I just wanted to let you know. You have Marco Gonzalez. He had a good year. All right. Nice piece. Out of Gonzaga, acquired from St. Louis. Then you have an aging Felix Hernandez. A guy who, like Clayton Kershaw in Los Angeles, his velocity is down. But he knows how to pitch. But he's only good for 5 2/3 innings. You have one of the greatest closers in recent memory, next to Bobby Thigpen and K-Rod Rodriguez, 62 saves. And then Bobby Thigpen had 57 for Chicago. But Edwin Diaz saves in the upper 50s. I'm going to tell you right now, Jerry DiPoto, he better get some religion real fast. If he doesn't have faith, he better talk to a priest. He better open a Bible. Because you know what? He's going to have faith with this crew. Who's going to be your number one? Felix Hernandez is not a number one starter. The right-hander out of Venezuela has given Mariner fans some of the greatest moments since he came up in 2005. But he's on the backside of his career, okay? He's on the back 9, let's say, of his 18-hole career. And he's already had his good years. He's only good for 5 2/3 innings. Well, you got Marco Gonzalez. And another guy that I think they need to get rid of, I don't know why the hell they're hanging on to him, Erasmo Ramirez. I am so tired of an inconsistent Mariner rotation. What the hell is going on? Okay, so what I'm just saying, you need to find at least one starter, if not two. You have your closer. You have your setup men. This stuff in Seattle, there's a reason that the Mariners haven't made the playoffs, and this kind of crap that got established after Masahiro or Mr. Yamauchi gave up the reins to Howard Lincoln and that group, ownership group. The Mariners are only there to be competitive and make a profit, which they have done very nicely. Thank you. But Mariner fans, I want to just prepare your hearts that you will not win 89 games. If you win 79 games, I'm going to be in shock. Matter of fact, I'll go on out on a limb right now. With your lack of pitching, the dearth, nice $1.50 word, the dearth, lack of pitching, that's what dearth means. Basically, you're going to see a drop-off of at least 14 wins. You're going to see the Mariners blow leads. The general gist of baseball in 2018 is, well, if you can get starters to go 5 to 6 innings, then you pass the ball off to your specialists from innings 7 through 9. This garbage needs to stop, Seattle. As a matter of fact, I'm not calling for a straight boycott, but what I am saying, Mariner fans, you have to question leadership right now. And I guarantee you that I'm not going to be the only one questioning. Some of you are going to sit in Safeco Field, out in center field, out left, the Hit It Here Cafe. You're going to be having overpriced, underpoured drinks. You'll be having your sushi, your garlic fries, your fried grasshopper, and all that other stuff. That's good. I mean, it's good. Not necessarily for the waistline, but, you know, you're going to pay for parking. You take your kids, your wife, your significant other, whatever, to the game. Are you willing to put out $200 to go to a game where Marco Gonzalez goes 4 innings? Justice Sheffield goes 5 innings and screws up and you never get to an Edwin Diaz for the save? That's the scenario I'm preparing you for. I don't have a crystal ball, but come on now. When Jerry Dipoto, general manager of the Mariners, comes out and says, hey, the thing is you got to understand, you're going to lose a lot of games. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time, that's what's going to happen. And remember, Yankee fans, those of you who think James Paxton is the savior from Ladner, BC, he'll be good, but remember, he's been on the disabled list 4 out of the last 7 years, arm trouble, 30 years old, 2 years at club control. That's another issue I wanted to bring up. All these guys like the Eric Swains and the Justice Sheffields, they're under club control for like 6 years. 6 years before they're arbitration eligible. James Paxton, arbitration eligible in 2 years. And he's 32. Now, baseball is a young man's game. Many players have been toiling around the minor leagues. 32, 33. What they'll tell you is baseball is a young man's game, and I agree with that. So what the Mariners are about to do is go young and have players under player control. All right? That's the whole deal. But the fact of the matter is, Jerry Dipoto may lose his fans. He may lose some stuff in the process. The process being, you're going to be doing terrible. 89 wins might be the most wins you've seen in the next 2 years. We might see games, 70, 75 wins. But anything close to 89 until 2021 isn't happening. So what Jerry Dipoto is telling you, Mariner fans, is trust the process, similar to the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, who did a tank, okay? 9-73, Markel Fultz, shoulder injury, has the yips, comes out of Washington, can't hit the side of a barn. If he tried, needs his shot adjusted. But that's Brett Brown's problem. But I'm telling you, what Jerry Dipoto is telling you, Mariners fans, is screw you for 2 years, but come support our team. You're going to hear, well, we have a great young team. This team will be great. You know what? Mariner fans such as myself who remember the years of 1995, 1996, 1997 very, very well, when the Mariners were at least qualifying for the playoffs. Edgar Martinez, Ken Griffey Jr., Jay Buhner hitting home runs. Those days are over. So Mariner fans, get ready for a bumpy, bumpy ride until 2021. This has been a Baseball Short. This is an exclusive baseball podcast prepared for you at AccessMediaGlobal.com. I'm your founder, Mark Janish. Happy Thanksgiving weekend, everyone. Appreciate your listenership. I need your financial support. You want to see this grassroots, non-corporate media functioning website bringing you all the information you need for your Mariner baseball season, which will open in Tokyo March 20 to 21. And guess who they're going to play? The Oakland A's. Bob Melvin, Oakland A's, 97 and 65. Bob Melvin used to formerly manage the Mariners from about 2004 to 2011. I'm sorry, 2004 to about 2007. So, with that, folks, enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. I just needed to get this frustration off my chest because Jerry Dipoto, you've just alienated your fan base, and I'm just letting your fan base know. I will always support the teams that I like, and baseball-wise, following the Dodgers since the days of my youth here in Southern California. Have an extreme love for the Seattle Mariners. That's it. All I'm trying to say is, Mariner fans, you're being hoodwinked. So if you believe the Mariners are going to win 89 games, I think you're smoking more weed, more drugs, more substances that are going to cause you to be inebriated. I don't know. And that's not to make light of the situation, but some of you are totally deceived, and it may take some medication to go to a May or June game at Safeco Field when Justice Sheffield and Eric Swain are in the top 2 or 3 slots, along with Marco Gonzalez and an Erasmo Ramirez to get going. You may see Edwin Diaz's saves drop from like 55 to about 30 just because the Mariners don't appear to have a plan to replace James Paxton. Good luck, James. Gave us some great years in Seattle. But the fact of the matter is, this new era of Seattle Mariner baseball is looking like the Tampa Bay Rays previous to 2008. It's also looking like the Bo Porter era in Houston before the current crop of Astros started winning 98 to 110 games a year, appearing in the World Series in 2017. So we're going to see how this pans out. Now, I could be totally wrong, but the fact of the matter is I've given you the history of the Mariners. The Mariners are only interested in making a profit. They're here. They're around to fleece your money, Seattle. The question for you Seattle Mariner fans is, are you willing to spend money for 2 years and trust the process. We've heard that before. Trust the process, so the Mariners will maybe contend for a playoff spot. But I can tell you right now, the Mariners will not, unless they strike lightning in a bottle, which could happen, until 2021, 2022. For AccessMediaGlobal.com, this has been a Baseball Short podcast. It'll be up on the baseball page. Thanks for listening. I think I'll be okay now. Have a good day, everyone.